Alright guys, what's up? This is the official update video of the OMW Lancer. Spoiler alert, I don't got the board no more. I returned it. It broke down on me. I'll get to all that later. What I want to say is almost every part of the board was kind of faulty or did not work properly. Almost every part of the board. I can go over them quick right now. I got videos for everything. You can see the videos. It's pretty explanatory. I just want to knock them off the list so you understand what the point of this video is. This video is specifically to warn buyers about this board and this brand. I know they have other boards for sale that have good reviews, positive, by the community and all of that, good parts and all that stuff. But when it comes to the Lancer specifically, I want to talk about it because my experience was very, very bad with it. First of all, when I did get the board, I did tell him I was gonna stress test this try it to its limits, pretty much see how it could handle, because I ride very aggressively when I want to, also when possible. That's one thing. I ride aggressively. I wanted to try if this company and this board is reputable because this is a new board. It's kind of a new market. They're trying to be a entry-level friendly board that's also the quality of a 2-in-1 style board that was very expensive back in the days. And now to put the cost down. But to cut the cost, you have to cut some corners to think the details, the small details, some small engineering points and just decisions were not the greatest with this board. First of all, I told them I was gonna try the board in the rain, in all different conditions, just to see if it held up. Stress test the battery, the range, the top speed, the hill climbing, everything. I would say it did pass those, but as a board itself, it didn't hold up more than 4 months. Mind you, this is a new board, brand new board. Now, I'll tell you every problem it had. When I just got it, there's a handle that comes on the board. I can show you a picture right now. On the website, it's at the front of the board, on the deck. I decided to put it in the back. So what I had to do to get the truck back on and screw everything down tight, I had to switch the screws to the back, and those were too long. They didn't think of this. I contacted them because I saw that my motors that's underneath the board got scratched pretty deeply, and not in a dangerous way, but just cosmetically. It was a cosmetic flaw, I would say design flaw. It scratched the motor casings, like the black casing that's on every belt motor on electric skateboards. It scratched them pretty deeply when I was carving or just turning very deep. That was the first problem. I did get the right size screws for that, so that problem was fixed, but the damage on the board was permanent. There's nothing I could do. I didn't know. I don't know if they knew. I did also get a remote cover, and this was maybe a couple weeks after I got the board because the shipping and all that. I did contact them though, because it was a brand new board, and I could see the silver on the black. Something had scratched it very badly. They do have very, very, very good support. They addressed the issue. We fixed it in a couple of weeks, but this is the first of many problems. The next problem I did realize after about 30 kilometers of just riding and use. I remember I got up to 30 kilometers on the odometer. You can see they have an app too on a remote of every electric skateboard. There should be a odometer at least. This board had one, and it reset 5 different occasions. One time when I got to 30, one time when I got to 150, one time when I got to 400, another time 250. So I don't really know how many miles I put on the board. That's a problem for me personally. That's not really a problem for everybody, but I think this is more of a hobby wing bug / bad coding Just from O&W. I don't know. But this was like the first few days. So this is kind of crazy. I've never had this happen before. I heard they were a reputable brand, so I was like, okay, it's nothing, I guess. Then another major issue happened. That's actually a very functional issue. One of the motors on the board, when I was just riding casually, I could notice it didn't work when I put some throttle on the remotes. So I gave it throttle, only the left motor would work, the right motor would not move at all. It would lock up, and in result it would like kind of vibrate and jitter me forward until somehow the motor kicked in, jerked me. Of course I'm very experienced, so I don't really fall off the board, but like I can understand a new and beginner like level rider, this could be very dangerous to them. Very dangerous. I addressed this. They sent me a new ASC because I was like, there's no way it's the motor. It shouldn't be, at least. Sent me a new ASC. I tried that one. It didn't really fix the problem. We reset the board. There's kind of a hard reset you can do. That kind of fixed the problem, but it came back up after a couple months. That was one problem. And what I noticed here was, this was like the second month owning it, maybe even the first month, I'm not even sure. The odometer reset, the motor was scratched, the motor wasn't even working. And then the second or third month, I remember one of the lights kind of went out, the headlights it had. It didn't really work, so I got confused there. I was like, is every part of this board about to break, or what's happening? I contacted the support. I told them this is not a finished product if it performs like this. I tested out the connections. I think it was one of the connections was bad. I don't know why. I'm not a rocket scientist or electric skateboard engineer and soldering engineer and all that, but I know that it shouldn't happen. That's all I know. I put the rubber around it, like the silicone rubber, to protect it from dirt and all that debris. It shouldn't be that. I think it's something internal that is just not working properly. I didn't fix it. I could live with it, you know. Having one headlight is fine for me. So at this point, I was too in love with the board and using it too much to even think about a refund or sending it back or anything like that. I used this board pretty much daily in summer because it was fantastic when it worked. The best board by far I've tried, by far, when it worked. It did have a lot of problems, but I saw past that because I thought it had too much value for me. But the final straw for me was when the kingpin snapped. If you don't understand the levels of safety concern of this, you don't even have to. I can give you an analogy. Think of it as you having a bike or a car or any kind of vehicle, okay, which has wheels. The wheels are held up to the frame, okay? That thing that held that thing, the wheels to the frame up, snapped, and the wheels just fell off. You couldn't use them. Luckily, I have videos of everything. I was not going fast at all. I came out pretty much unharmed. I never even fell off the board once. I am very experienced, I will say that. But to anyone buying this which is not experienced, which I think a lot of people is, I've had boards for over 10 years, 12, 13 years I'm pretty sure. And not everybody has that kind of experience, especially with electric skateboards. It's a different kind of awareness you have to have. It's a different kind of skill. Everything is different. But the kingpin broke. That was the final straw for me. I saw them using me kind of like a test dummy, you know, trying out the board, replacing and fixing it by myself. I bought a product which is supposed to work. If you buy a car, it's supposed to work. Simple. Yeah, so I returned the board. I contacted them. They do have immaculate service. I will say this again. The company itself is very well thought out, but the products, I cannot say the same thing. This is more of an educational video. I do have the update video playing after this, after you can see all the videos of the problems I had. It's gonna play all those videos, which is good for the if there's anyone still that's interested in this board. I would say avoid it completely. This is kind of funny for me because you always read about like incidents, like crazy incidents, like a wheel falling off or whatever. The board just locks up. I'm very lucky. I'm trying to explain this to you guys. I could have been dead right now. So I'm trying to capture what happens on camera. The motor, this motor, it locks. So, oh wait, it's actually that motor. Yeah, it's this motor because it's upside down. So this motor, sometimes it looks. I'm riding and I can feel it drag behind me, so that's when I know. And there's nothing stuck in the belts, as you can see. They're turning completely smooth. I've checked inside, there's nothing in there. 500 kilometers. It's already pretty much not functioning as it should. I don't know why. Maybe it's a bad motor, bad ESC. As I said, I had a couple of ESC problems because the ESC, yeah, now you can see it. Okay, I was just sitting here, but it was off, completely off. I tried to turn around the remote. I had almost 400 kilometers on this new ESC. It works flawlessly so far, but 3 days ago, I noticed the same issue happened with the motor, where this one spins, this one does not spin until you're about 10 kilometers an hour, and then it kicks in. It doesn't spin, and what it does, it like vibrates. So I can show you. You see? It vibrated. Also, the odometer reset it. So I don't know, my board seems to be thing on a stop because the board said overcurrent something. Board overcurrent, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna look it up in the instruction booklet. Okay, I'm riding across to this side. I hear something drop. The truck, the bolt of the kingpin, it broke. So this all came off. It was very low speeds. I was lucky with that, but if it was higher speeds, it would be very bad. So, like the bushings are intact, but the kingpin itself, as you can see, it's snapped. You can see it's snapped from the top. That's not good. That is not good. Okay, this is gonna be the official update video of the OMW Lancer. I've now ridden about 250 kilometers in about 8 days, 9 days, I would say. Right now, I've just put on these Kegel wheels from Boosted. So it shouldn't be that much of a problem. I just want to try out to see what kind of range I can get, because with the 105s, the range hasn't been bad. I mean, it's been more than I need, but in a lot of cases, I've rode this like all day. I've been going swimming. When I go there and go back, like on the way back, it started to get below 10% voltage. A couple times I actually had 0 bars and I was still riding. That's the good thing about this board, because it has a 12S 4P battery. So the battery pack is pretty big. So it actually has a lot more juice than it says, but it doesn't, the voltage sag is quite annoying, I would say. The Mad wheels, they are very good for comfort, very good for grip, but one thing they're not very good for is efficiency. They have a lot of drag, they're bigger, They have better top speed, but if you want range on a Lancer, I can confirm this. The ride quality is way better than I expected personally. I don't have as much confidence in turning because I feel like the back end might shoot out behind it because it has so much torque. It's actually crazy. I am gonna measure the range, as I said. I'm hoping, or I'm expecting this to get more than 30 kilometers. I'm gonna be honest, because this has, when I'm just coasting, it has way, like, the resistance isn't even there. It feels like a hub board basically, because the hardness of the wheel. It does have grip, not as much as the mad wheels, but it's good enough, I would say. And yeah, the ride quality is pretty good. Last thing for an update before I give you the range test. So the Lancer is very wide, as I mentioned in the review. So it depends on how you stand on it. If you stand on it like how I stand on it, it's pretty much perfect. I stand on it like this. I'm basically horizontal of the board. Longboard riders that go downhill, they tend to stand more with the foot like this. If you stand like that, it's not gonna be as easy of getting the leverage you need to turn, because this is a wide board, as I said. Okay, so I have about 80% battery left on the board. I've done about 9 kilometers so far. This is gonna be a definitive range test for the update video of about 350 kilometers in. So that's how far I've ridden in a couple, I think 2 weeks to be exact. Yeah, the board is holding up very good. Just a couple little things I have mentioned, and I also told the company OMW, which they did address because they do have very good support and they did help me out. So one of the things was this. So you can see the silver little rings on the motors is because I put the handle in the back. Usually it should be in the front as they intended it to be, because the longer screws for the trucks are in the front. So what I did, I switched them, and they weren't designed that way, so when I actually turn and carve heavy, they scratch just a teeny bit. It's not too, it could damage the motor. Like, you probably could if you really carve like very deep, but if you don't, it shouldn't really be a problem. But I mentioned it, and they are already sending 2 extra screws to me for free, so I can put them in the back and still use the handle and won't have any scratching. Another little nitpick thing, sometimes, I don't know why, it doesn't want to reverse. Like when I'm pressing it double, I don't know if it's a range, like when I'm far away from it, because my other hobby wing boards, when I did use the reverse function, which is double click, it always worked no matter the range of where I am. Like if I'm 5 meters or 10 meters away, it always worked. This board, it has been a little different. It's not really, I don't know, maybe if you're 10 or more meters away from the board, it might not respond when you try to reverse. So yeah, that's another thing. That's pretty much it. Other than that, I've driven it through rain. It's held up pretty perfectly. Another thing that I would say that's very good with this board, because I was a little hesitant with buying a belt board, because I had the X1, also had the Wildgo 3X. I've had a couple belt boards, and one thing is that this board, you really don't have any belt like anxiety of it snapping or getting damaged by rocks and pebbles, because of the gap right here. It's so small that pebbles don't really fit. So I've only got a pebble stuck once, and it was in here actually, not between the belts. That's where it usually breaks. So it was a bigger pebble. It got in into here and then grind it up a little bit. You can see on the belt. But that's pretty much it. Other than that, there's been no problems. And this is gonna be the range test. So I've already gone 9 kilometers. But yeah, it's a fantastic board, I would say. I just wanna try out the range real quick, see how much you can get on one charge. I'm hoping around 30, so I need to do 20 on about 80% battery. If it does that, I'll be pretty happy. And yeah. All right, update. I've gone around 11 kilometers. It's lost 2 bars. It's about, I think, 35% left. One thing this board does is it has pretty bad voltage sag, I will say. It doesn't really keep up the torque. Doesn't keep up the fucking yeah, the torque, and the top speed falls off very quick. After around, I'll say, after 50% you start to feel it actually. But you really start to notice it when it's around 40, because when you're around 40% you can tell it's slower, and the torque is still there, but it doesn't reach the top speed in mode 4. In mode 4 it hits the about 43, and the top speed should be around 50, so it doesn't really hit it. But I mean, if that's good enough for you, it's good enough. It's just a little thing. It's not that big of a deal. One pretty good thing, I would say, when it does get to around 10%, it still has a lot of juice in it, but it's a safety thing, so you can get where you need to go. It kind of, I think when it's closer to 20%, it gives the 10% warning, and then you get a lot slower, maybe around the 35 max speed in kilometers. So I pretty much can get home from anywhere if I don't ride too far, because of that feature. It's kind of a good and bad thing, because I would rather have a more like drainage on the battery, so it could get pretty good torque, pretty good top speed when it's lower in percent, rather than have the slower, more cruising speed when you're lower voltage. That's just my point though. If you're different, you might think differently, but I like to get where I need to go as quick as possible, of course within the rules. But I don't like right now I'm going like 25-ish, just so I can talk easily to the camera. But we can try it right now. It's around, I would say, 30% now, maybe 28-ish. We could try the top speed out and see the torque. This is maximum now. This is max. Okay, 35, 38, 40. Yeah, so as I mentioned, around 40. Higher than 40 it doesn't really go. Yeah, it's pretty much stuck at 40. In mode 4 also. Yeah, and it just lost the bar. So now it's around 25-ish%, maybe even less, I would say. Oh no, it actually gave me the 10% warning right now. See, that's what I'm saying. So when you're around 20% battery left, the board kind of limits the power and the discharge rate. So I could probably get home. I'm around, now I'm 12 kilometers in. So I think it's around 3 to 4 kilometers home. The board should make it. So I'll still keep you up to date, guys. Don't mind the noise. That's just, I think there's something in one of the bearings. But this is something I really like to do. I really actually enjoy this. When I'm low on battery, I like to sit on the board, like I am right now, because it feels so much faster. Now I'm going 25. It feels like I'm flying. I think it's something to do where you're closer to the ground or something. But this is so much fun where you're low voltage. So I just do it like this and I cruise pretty much. See the bus? Yeah. And also, this board is so incredibly stable. It's beyond my realm of understanding. I don't know how it's so stable. Maybe it's harder bushings than normal, but I really don't know how it did this, because it's so nimble yet so stable. It's just very, 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 very good. Look at this. It's one of my favorite drops. I think I've had this happen a couple times. So right now, my odometer that tracks how far you've gone all time, it's at 138. But the thing is, it has reset it like 2 times already. So one time, when I was on, I think 30 or 20 something kilometers, it reset to 0. And now it did it again when I was on 200, pretty much 250 I think. So yeah, I'm pretty much close to 400 now in total. But I don't know if something to do with the app. Maybe my ESC is a little bit broken. It's wrong firmware. I'm not really sure. But other than that, it hasn't done anything wrong, like ever. It's never disconnected. It's never fully died on me either. I've done pretty much 26-ish, 25-ish kilometers on one charge. It's a little low, I would say. I'm gonna mention this because I did tell them, for a 504 watt-hour battery with my weight, and yeah, it shouldn't get that range, you know, because I have a Backfire G3 version 2 with the 311 watt-hour battery. That board can get pretty much the range that this board gets, and the battery indicator is way more accurate on that board. Like, it doesn't. So this yeah, I would say this board's indicator isn't accurate at all, actually, because I went 9 kilometers on the first bar, and then when I turned it on again, it said I have 5 out of 5 bars somehow. But I rode like 2 kilometers, I lost 2 bars, so I was at 3 out of 5. It's not really, yeah, it's not accurate at all. For my Backfire, for example, that board loses very evenly the bars that it has on the remote. So I can go about 5, maybe 6 kilometers per bar at pretty high speeds too. Of course, this doesn't have the torque or the feel as this board, so it's very different. It's like comparing a Prius to like a Corvette or something. They could get the same amount of range, but it's not the same experience, you know? They don't get everything, but you get what I'm saying. It's not the same feel. Alright, I don't know if you can see. It does say about 19, it said 18.7 there. So I have gone around 19 kilometers. The last like 2 kilometers ish, 1.5, I've been kicking it because it's been very slow. It's about 10 kilometers an hour. It is a 504 watt-hour battery. It's very big. It should be more efficient as because it's I think 12S4P, I'm pretty sure. And a lot of different boards that just came out recently uses that kind of battery pack, and it does get way better range than this that I've seen in real world tested. So yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in the range test, because to be fair, I could get, if I'm really gunning it, I could get maybe close to 20, which is very crazy for a 504 watt-hour battery. As I said, if I'm really gunning it on the Backfire or the X-Way I have, I can easily reach 20, easily. I know the route I usually take. I just did it with this board, a little extra, just so I can maybe reach 30. But as you can see right now, I'm going 9 kilometers an hour. I'm not really moving. So the range is a little bit of a disappointment to me, because I really thought it would be a bigger upgrade to my other boards, but it really isn't. Also because they do advertise their board as having 45 to 55 kilometers of range, which is not even close to what I've on. It's about half of that, realistically. If someone gets 50 kilometers on this board, I want them to show me the video. First of all, I want them to document it properly. I want to see the odometer before and after, because if that's the case, I definitely got a bad battery pack or something like that. But the extra weight of this board, the extra torque, really kills the range. The wheels also, I would say, the matte wheels are very, 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 very good. It's probably the biggest upgrade, I would say, to my old boards. The right feel, which the deck and the matte wheels and the grip tape really are the biggest contributors to the feel of the board. And the feel is definitely the best I've tried, which I did say in the original video. But the range and the raw performance of the board, the speed is very, very, very good when you're topped out on battery. If you're under 50%, still pretty good. If you're under 30, it's not that good. This getting around 25-ish without like counting the voltage sag and shit, 25 is what I'm getting pretty much. And after that, I know I gotta sit down and ride, you know, like I showed you guys. I'm on 19.4 kilometers for this trip, and the last trip was about 9 on the single charge. So yeah, I would not count this as 30 kilometers of range, not at all. I was kicking for at least 3 kilometers, and I was off the board for around a kilometer and just pushing it. I mean, pushing does work, but yeah, again, for this battery, this is very underwhelming, I would say.